Ever find yourself in the airport immigration line feeling a bit nervous and curious about the questions they might throw at you? Whether you're heading into the US or another country, being aware of the common questions customs and immigration officers can ask can make your entry smoother and less stressful. It's essential to be ready and know the most effective ways to respond. One of the first questions you'll likely encounter is, what's the purpose of your visit? The key here is to be friendly, confident and to the point. They don't need to know your entire life story, just a clear and concise answer. They want to ensure that your reason for visiting matches your visa type. For example, mentioning work when you're on a tourist visa could cause problems. If you're there for vacation, simply say you're on holiday. If you're visiting family, just mention that. Keep it simple and avoid giving too much detail that could complicate things. Next, they might ask how long you intend to stay. Again, keep it simple. If you're planning to stay for 3 weeks, just say 3 weeks. Even if your plans are a bit flexible, give a definitive answer to avoid appearing uncertain. It's important that your stated length of stay fits within the allowed time for your visa. Most travellers know exactly how long their trip will be, but if you have an open-ended itinerary, pick a duration that fits your visa conditions and stick with it. You'll also need to provide proof that you're planning to leave the country when you say you will. This is often checked by airlines before you board, but immigration might ask as well. Have a copy of your return ticket or onward travel arrangements ready, either physically or digitally. Refundable tickets from reputable airlines are a good option if your plans are open-ended, but make sure to keep track of your actual travel dates to avoid looking suspicious. If you don't have a specific return date, you can still buy a refundable ticket to show as a proof and cancel it once your plans are finalised. Another common question is where you'll be staying during your visit. Always have the first place you're going to stay lined up, whether it's a friend's house, a hotel or an Airbnb. Even if you prefer to keep your plans flexible, have a clear answer ready. You don't need to detail your entire itinerary, but a confident plan is important. If you're travelling around, you might say something like, I'll be staying at an Airbnb in downtown for the first few nights, then I plan to visit several cities. This shows you have a plan without locking yourself into too much detail. In some countries, they might ask you for the address of the place where you're staying, or even a copy of your reservation. For example, in Mexico, if you're staying at a friend's or relative's house, it's common they might ask you for an invitation letter. So we advise you to research the specific requirements for the country you're visiting. Your occupation might come up as well. This can be to verify your ability to support yourself during your stay. Be clear and concise about your job. If you're unemployed, it's okay to say so, but be prepared for possible follow-up questions about your financial means. They might want to know how you're funding your trip. Just explain briefly and confidently. Speaking of finances, you might be asked how much money you have. This usually refers to the cash you're carrying, as countries have limits on how much undeclared cash you can bring in. They might also check if you have enough funds to support yourself. So it's a good idea to know the financial requirements of the country you're visiting and be prepared to show proof if asked. Having a printed credit card or bank statement can help demonstrate that you have access to funds in case you're at a country where the officer asks for it. You might also be asked if you've packed your own bag. They want to ensure you're aware of everything in your luggage. If you packed it yourself, say yes. If someone helps you, be honest about it. This is usually a straightforward question, but they might follow up if your answer is unclear. Just be transparent and straightforward. Another question is whether you're traveling alone. Just explain who you're with, if anyone, and state their relationship to you. These questions help the officers piece together your travel story to ensure it makes sense. If you're traveling with friends or family, just say so. If you're alone, that's perfectly fine too. If they ask you if you have family in the country, this helps them understand your visit's purpose. It's perfectly fine to have family where you're going, as long as it's clear to the officer you're not planning to overstay or violate your visa conditions. Be ready to provide their names, addresses and contact information if asked. This shows that you have a support system and a clear reason for your visit. You might be asked if you've visited the country before. They're looking for any red flags and piecing together your travel history. A general idea of your last visit should suffice. You don't need exact dates, but having a rough timeline can reduce stress and help your answer confidently. Just say something like, I visited about 2 weeks ago for a week. Another common question is where you came from. They can see this from your passport and boarding pass, but they want to hear your answer. If you have a complex travel pattern, be prepared for additional questions. Clear and straightforward answers are best. For example, I flew in from Paris, but I've been traveling around Europe for the past month. Finally, you might be asked if you have any items to declare. Always check the country's rules beforehand because not declaring something can lead to legal trouble. If you're carrying typical travel items, you should be fine, but it's always good to double check. Declaring items properly is crucial to avoid any misunderstandings or legal issues. For more detailed travel tips and visa information, ivisatravel.com is a great resource. They offer comprehensive advice to help you navigate those tricky situations. They provide the latest updates and requirements so you're always informed and prepared for your journey. To wrap things up, remember that answering these questions confidently and honestly is key. Immigration officers are trained to detect inconsistencies, so it's best to be straightforward. If you're prepared, you can avoid unnecessary stress and ensure a smooth entry into your destination. Before you head out, don't forget to like this video, and if you found it helpful, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest travel tips. Safe travels and see you in the next one.